Hello, my name's Ariane and I'm from Australia. I'm 27 years old and I've been working as a physiotherapist for the last 4 years. But this February I found myself studying shamanism and I wanted to have a little talk about what's going on there. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, the world is in a desperate state right now and I'm so grateful to be here doing something I love and something that's sort of been handed to me in a way that I never expected it to happen. And I'm just so grateful. So I guess it all started when I was a child and I was really interested in healing and the body's way that it can heal, and also the different plants, ginger, lemon, and drinking honey when I had a sore throat, and what is this natural remedy stuff? I'm pretty curious about it. And I wanted to be a doctor because I thought, well, I can really help people as a doctor, and maybe I don't believe in medicine 100% of the time, but if I can help people heal their bodies, that'd be awesome. And so I tried to get in and I never made it, but I did get into physiotherapy. And I've been working as a physio for the last 4 years, which has been really interesting. Times really enjoyable and other times really difficult. And one part that I found difficult was the fact that people would come in and they'd be experiencing this suffering in their body. But a lot of the time I felt like it was linked to other factors, like maybe they had trouble with their mother and they're having problems with their left shoulder, or, they're stressed about their son and, but now my knee hurts. And I would feel really close and connected to my patients, and I would often be asking them, personal questions because we see each other so regularly. And even though these things were linked in, I could feel that there was no space in the physio world for this kind of healing in my textbooks and all of the research I'd done. And I really felt like I was taking on an element of their suffering with them, and why are we carrying this much pain in our bodies? How is this manifesting? And so I went to Thailand and I did a Reiki course, and that sort of made me realize a few different things about spiritual work and energy and how it manifests in the body and how we get pain and disease. And reading Louise's Hay book also was pretty profound for me, and I sort of started thinking about what is really going on here? Is it more of a holistic approach that we need, or are we so narrow-minded that we can't see past the fact that we have a mental body but also energetic, spiritual, emotional, physical bodies? And there's all these parts of us, as well as our ancestry that we carry on and what we carry on in our lineage. And I was curious and I started to go inward, and I started practicing meditation and yoga, and I did a Vipassana, and I thought that maybe there was more to my role as a healer than just sort of massaging and giving exercises, because I could feel people suffering and I felt like I was taking it on a lot of the time, and I started to get very sick as well from the work I was doing. Yeah. And so I had a deep message when I was 21 to go to Peru in the February before I turned 27. And the message was that I was actually going to die in Peru. And I've really known this for a while, and I felt like I have to really enjoy my life because I'm going to not make it at 27. It's crazy, yeah. And so when I hugged my mom at the airport and we said goodbye, she said, "I feel like I'm not going to see you again." And I really thought, don't say that. But it turns out that COVID had a bit of another plan in mind, and she was definitely right about that. And so I went to Peru and I went to a retreat, and I met with some shamans from the Shipibo tribes, and we drank different medicines, and I really felt like my ego was dissolved, and I really felt a death of my own psyche. And I felt that I died in a way that my old self is no more. And I saw the woman that I am, and I saw that I'm a goddess, and the true, that I deserve so much more love and respect than I give myself. And we all do, we're all gods and goddesses in our own right, and we all deserve so much love and so much respect from ourselves. Nobody can ever give that to us except for you. And it really made me look at the world very differently, and I saw so much suffering from my own self that I was perpetuating, and I was manifesting in my jobs, in my relationships, in the way I was treating people. And it just comes from this well that I was carrying around, and it's so full of water, and I'm ready to tip it out, which isn't easy. It's not easy to acknowledge your own suffering and to see that, oh, maybe everything all along was me and my own thoughts and manifestations. And to take that with gratitude and to realize, yeah, well, now I know, now I can change. And so I got out of my retreat, and with a glisten in my eye and a skip in my step. And I really felt my spiritual awakening. And I thought that it was going to be more about, you're sitting down and you see this bright light coming through you and you start to glow and vibrate. And it's nothing like I imagined. I thought that you reach a point and a destination and then it's all good. The roads, you're there, I made it. I'm at my spiritual awakening, the world's easy now. But it's not. It's about embodying what you saw and what you felt, and embodying the lessons and becoming that light and becoming that love. And until you can walk in the way of the light, what's the point of all of these great, profound things that you realize? And so I started to put these things into practice, and the integration happened right before my very eyes. I was stuck in a hostel with 25 other people for the next 4 months. And that was so terrifying, especially for somebody as outgoing and outrageous as I am. I love to be outdoors all the time. I love to be exercising and doing all these different things. And all of a sudden I had to sit with myself, From the first day we were forced to wear masks. We weren't allowed to go out, and even men and women had alternate days to go out at a time. We couldn't go out after 10 a.m. It was really strict here in Peru, and lo and behold, 70% of Iquitos got sick. And, the fact that they're social distancing us before we go into a market and everybody's in your face, that just doesn't make any sense. And yeah, to be in a developing country during a pandemic wasn't something I ever signed up for, but I knew that I was here for a reason. And I saw the people around me starting to get sick, coughing, headaches, breathing problems, and I thought, well, this has to be, the big one, the big fear that everybody's running away from this year. And I graciously just looked inside myself and said, well, love is the answer, And so we continued to hug each other in the morning, and we continued to sing as much as we could with the energy we had. And we continued to make this really difficult few weeks. It was about 2 weeks of really people were sick. Okay, and to smile. Because I'll tell you now, smiling is way more contagious than any virus. And it really made me realize the biggest virus we're spreading is fear, and to be socially isolated, to be putting people away from each other, to disconnect from your families, to not being able to go to the hospital when your family's sick. I would rather die. And I started to see through what was really going on. I started to see that I don't agree with the way we're being forced to be afraid of each other. Children aren't going to schools, they're not going on their field trips, they're not spending time outside, and everybody's being forced inside to wear these masks, which I feel is giving me more breathing problems than without. And coming out on the other side of this, it's just devastating to see that we're going into another lockdown when most of this city has already had the coronavirus. And it's devastating that there's people dying, and that will always be a horrific thing for the families that are still living. But to be treating us all as if we need to fear the other is so wrong in my eyes. And we're better than that, you know? We need to hold each other and love each other. And why are we fighting over toilet paper? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, so it's been really difficult to see the world unfold in this way. And I know that me being here in Peru happened for a reason in this time. And so I really trusted that. And it happened one day. I was going to the shopping center and I ran into Claire, and I was curious and I wanted to introduce myself. I wanted to carry her bags, and she said, "No, I don't need you to carry my bags. But if you want to have a coffee, I know a place that's open." And I hadn't had a coffee in 4 months with this corona. So it was just such a beautiful experience to sit down there with Claire, and I'm so grateful for her coming into my life. And she was telling me that she worked as a shaman in a little village outside of Iquitos, and they weren't wearing any masks. And I thought, oh, take me there. And she said, yes, come. So I packed up my bags and I went to her little village. And it's beautiful. We have the jungle just over there, and there's boats just on the other side as well, surrounded by the Amazon. And we sat down together and we both felt really connected to the medicine here in Peru, to the different plants and what they offer. And I was telling her about my experience with the Shipibo people. And she was telling me about her own experience when she was in her 50s, having to leave Australia and come to Peru and start working with the sacred plants and helping people heal their spiritual bodies and helping people let go of so much trauma and their wounds that they've been carrying that's been limiting them, and they haven't been able to live freely and express themselves or embody who they truly are because they feel so limited and so caged in. And yeah, we attract the people into our life for the lessons that we need to learn. And so I've been here now for 2 months, and I'm doing an apprenticeship with Claire. And it's amazing because we've both come from totally different backgrounds to what's usually here in Peru. And I'll talk about that a little bit. So usually when people drink medicine from the Amazon, it's given in this area by the Shipibo people. And it's a really beautiful culture that they have, and it's almost a strict religion that they follow with the work that they do. And this work has been passed on for ancestors, and it starts from a very young age when they're in their teens. The teenagers will go into isolation and start drinking different brews, and they'll only speak with their shaman and eating very limited food. And that's how they create a relationship with the spirit of the plant so that they can heal other people with broken hearts or broken bodies or diseases. These plants work in miraculous ways, and there's so much we can learn from them. And I'm learning so much, you know. I'm so curious as to what they can do because I've seen my own self grow, and I've seen my own self let go of so much baggage that I was carrying unconsciously. And being able to bring it to the consciousness is a way of letting it go, and then working through that and making behaviors around letting go of addictive personality traits or irrational behavior. And just to touch on an example of one. So today I really felt itchy inside of myself, and I wanted to escape. And I felt really uncomfortable, and I felt like I just got to get out of here. What am I doing? Like this is a mistake, you know. I just want to go to the beach. And it was just like exploding out of me. And even though that seems like an innocent thing to go to the beach, it's the desperation behind what I was feeling that wasn't normal. And there was something going on deeper that I wasn't aware of. All I knew was that I needed to go to the beach now. And for me, the beach is a real refuge. It's a real safe haven, and it's a place where I let go. And so I sat down with Claire and I said, look, this has come up today. And, you know, usually for people, it's probably a cigarettes or alcohol addiction. You know, oh, I need to go have a drink right now. Like, I can't face this. And I've definitely been there. I've been there through that so many times. And it's the same feeling. It's a very strong emotional response to something. And I sat down with Claire and she put her hands against mine and she was reading me. And yeah, she was saying how there's a little girl inside of me screaming and she wants to be heard and she's suffering. And I said, yeah, that's it. Like, I'm like, to go to the beach. And she said, your brother's in this. Something to do with your brother. And well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's in Australia and he gets to go to the beach. And maybe I'm jealous about that. But as we dug deeper, it was much more. It was more about, me being repressed as a woman growing up. And as my father was a Muslim, he always chose my brother over me. And I love my brother so dearly, and it's of no fault of his own. And it's more a part of what I felt like being a woman meant. And just the fact that he's going to the beach and I'm unable to, it reminds something in me when he was allowed to go play sports and I wasn't allowed to. And he could go have fun with his friends while I was at home cooking for my father and his friends. And how he could wear short sleeve shirts and I wasn't allowed to. And it's just a miracle to be able to recognize this, because without this space and this support, these reactions just keep going on in my life, in the relationships that I've attracted, in the work that I do. And without stopping to think, well, why am I reacting in this way? It just keeps perpetuating and manifesting. And just being here, I've let go of so much already. I've really let go of so many compulsive behaviors, and I've completely given up alcohol, which I really want to talk about in another video. I've taken out all my piercings and what that really means for me and how I saw myself. And I think it's important for you as well to look at how you see yourself and why do you have these things and what do they really mean to you? Why, for example, why do you have your piercings? Why do you need your coffee in the morning? Why are you okay at work and then all of a sudden, I need sugar? And we've all been there. And it's a work, but I feel like it's really important. And for me, I can see already my life changing, and I'm inviting different relationships into my life, and I feel like it's paving a whole new path for me. And this kind of work is what I'm really passionate about. And it's this work that's brought me to Claire, and it's this work that I'd love to share with the world. And with the plants, it's so powerful, the way that they can work through your psychology and show you traumas, show you pains, really teach you deep things and make you feel something, and you need to sit and think, well, why am I feeling this way? And there's no happy pill, there's no pill that makes all the pain go away and all the suffering. It's about looking at it in the face and saying, well, what is this teaching me? And how can I be free from this? And knowing that it took this long to learn the pattern, so it is going to take a while to unlearn it and to become something new. But I'm feeling more and more my own death of my past Ariane and into the new. And even to say my own name, Ariane Romeo, it's taken me so long to just identify with who I am, because I felt so shameful of who I am. And it's ridiculous, I know, because when we meet each other, it's never the way, but we all hold so much internally and unconsciously. Yeah. And another thing I want to talk about that's probably a little bit different, that we've been working on is my father had a lot of jealousy around my mother being single and being able to be a woman and to meet other men. And so when my sister was 4 years old, he actually abducted her and he took her for 3 days. And Claire saw through her psychic work that he actually put a spell on my sister and that he would make my sister feel really jealous when she was with any other man. And I really felt that this behavior is truth because I could see my sister behaving in a way that wasn't normal when my mother was with anybody else. And so we worked really hard, and in her tarot readings and in psychic meditations to release this spell from my sister. And we have, and my sister has changed. You know, she's allowed my mother's partner into her life more easily. She's not so reactive, and it's just profound because it seems like witchcraft or something, you know, magical, but it's true. There's a whole nother realm and another, you know, spiritual dimension that we're all living in, and it is, whether we're conscious of it or not, even the fact that you're listening to this sparks a little bit of curiosity in your mind and shows to you that maybe there is something in this. And if I start to feel good about myself and think good thoughts, then maybe they will manifest in something else. And I really hope that I can one day give this medicine to somebody else and to help them on their spiritual journey, and that's why I'm here studying the shamanism. And yeah, so every Monday I sit down with Claire and we make a plan, and every week I drink her sacred brew, and I also drink other teas on dietas. And I'll make another separate video talking about the dietas, but they're very powerful in their own right. And traditionally, Shipibos will go into isolation and they won't be communicating with anybody in the outside world. And for me, it's very difficult because I'm from a different culture and I will never be a Shipibo, no matter how many hours I spend on my own in the jungle. You know, I'm grown up in a different world, and I'll be treating people from the same world that I'm from. And that's why it's so remarkable that I'm with Claire, because she understands this, and we're working with the plants in a way that's traditionally untraditional. You know, we're just working with them for their own right, not with any sort of dogma or religious beliefs around them, but with utmost respect and honoring how sacred they are. And it's powerful. It's powerful because I'm in a village and it's busy, you know. Right now we can hear the beautiful birds, but usually there's parties at night, you know, there's chickens, there's dogs, all these kind of noises. And for me to recognize that, you know, this is all part of life and this is part of my growth is a beautiful thing. Instead of being so reactive and saying, oh, this is my retreat, you know, I need everybody to be silent so I can learn. I need, you know, it's not right, because that's not the world that I'm living in. And if I'm going to integrate the lessons, well, it needs to be real and practiced now. And so even my food choices, traditionally, they would only be eating very simple food, usually just rice and bananas and fish. And so I'm following this diet as best as I can and as strictly as I can, and understanding that I'm a human with needs. But my discipline is what is holding me true to myself. And so it's about, you know, you can't be being too strict and isolated in a way that is not known to you, so you go crazy. It's about limiting in a way that you feel comfortable, for me anyway, and so that I can learn these teachings in a way that I can integrate them and then give them to somebody else eventually. And yeah, working through all this, it's powerful, and I'm seeing so much light and love in my life coming out of me. And although I miss my family and I miss my friends, and of course I miss the beach, and it's not easy being on your own a lot of the time, it's necessary for the work. And I'm excited to see what the future holds, and I'm excited for today and, you know, the now, and even just being here speaking to you. I'm so grateful that you're here listening to me. And if you would like, I have a GoFundMe account, so if you feel like you would like to support me on my journey, I'll link you below. I also have Instagram, the Shaman's Apprentice _. And if you have any questions, please comment them below, and you can give it a like and subscribe if you like. And I just really hope that you find peace and love in your heart, and Don't allow the coronavirus or anything ever tell you how you should feel or what you should think, because you know in your heart what's true. And ultimately, love is the answer every time. And we can all do that for each other. So all the love to you, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Ciao.